Okay, so let's start this conversation. This is the big red mare and Luna and the little old lady. So ground school is really difficult. It's really difficult. I'm going to give you the horse. I'm going to stand back here so I can put everybody in the viewfinder. Okay, there we go. So it's not a question of being right or wrong. It's not a question of having your horse be robotic. And it's all about energy. And I've spent enough time with this horse to know that if somebody else is handling the horse, now see right there, you can see Luna overdo it. If you put too much energy in, you get too much energy response from the horse. Now just stand still, turn your back to her and just leave her alone. See, people are so funny. They want to be so perfect. They want the horse to be perfect. We watch these international horses, especially in the dressage ring, and they're just stand still, leave her alone, just stand still. So the horse moves. Now, if the horse moves like that, you got to ask yourself why. Now, stand still, leave her alone. What's the weather? It's a little bit starting to rain. It's cold. There's a wind from the, the southeast. And it's miserable. So no self-respecting horse is going to willingly stand facing the wind. So all the horse wants to do is put her back to the wind. I don't blame her. But if we want the horse to face the wind, then we're not being very fair. Especially if we get our panties in a bunch because blasted horse isn't listening to us. Then we're back in that me Tarzan, you Jane, and you better bloody listen. It's not fair. It's no different than if I say to you, Luna, I want your leg here. I want your pelvis in this kind of motion. I want your head up and your inside shoulder up and back and your outside shoulder forward. And you give me the opposite. And I have a hissy fit. And I just, lay your guts out on the arena ground and put them back together all covered in gravel and sand. It doesn't feel good. But we're used to being treated in such an autocratic manner that it becomes like you're a pretty sweet individual. But see, when people have a response to things, we don't just change, like we're just going to go from red and we're going to add a little yellow and we get orange. No, we don't go from red. We go directly across the color wheel to a blue. We just go 180 degrees. We don't go a degree or two one side or the other. We flip to the other side. That's the problem with the human character. We have a lot of trouble. Like I've been at clinics and you have these women that they wouldn't say shit if they had a mouthful. But if their horse does something in that clinic that causes a problem, well, they stand up on their hind legs and they are screaming and yelling at me, you get that horse under control and this is wrong and this is dangerous and blah, 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 blah. And all they're doing is making a bad situation worse. It happens. You know that happens because you've done it. And then somebody that's of authority comes along and then you're the one that gets it in the neck. See, now we can do that to our horses and we are the most well-intended individuals, but we still go to that. And it's so hard to change. It's so hard to change. And we have to have a way. Let's go back to when I was talking about the expressive, driver, analytical, and what's the fourth one? Expressive. Did I say that yet? Analytical, driver, expressive. What's the fourth one? Can't remember at the moment. No. Expressive, analytical, I can't remember. I'll fix it up later. But we want, if those are in 4 different corners, we want to work in the middle. So if we're being analytical and we've just paralyzed ourselves with it, then we want to be able to move to one of the other quadrants, but a little bit. Just a little bit. We don't want to jump in the pool at the deep end. See? So you have to be able to, instead of going directly across the color wheel, or from going to 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock on an analog, we need to be able to go to 12:30 instead of, going to 6. We need to be able to, and just look at this horse. Now see, she's in her sympathetic mode right now. Maybe there's a deer over there. Maybe, who knows what the maybe is. But you can see, if I just step up to her head, you can see that vagus nerve isn't showing. But if we put her head down, if Luna gets herself back into her normal sweet mode and can coax the horse's head down, then everything will work better and the mare will start to relax. And people say, well, why do you ride in a double bridle? Why do you use the half-breed Western bit when you're grooming her? See, because then she can put herself in that parasympathetic problem-solving mode. I need to be able to put a double bridle in Luna, bridle her up with that so she can relax. Learning for a person to learn to relax is really challenging. It's really challenging. And I posted several days ago a picture with the mare had her head down and my right arm, which is my damaged arm, over the top of her head. And trust me, that's a big deal. And when you see this mare and Luna all kind of fired up like they are right now, and yeah, this is what being fired up looks like now, then you can understand how important identifying sympathetic, parasympathetic, and making those changes, how it is so important for the safety and well-being of the horse and the people around, but also when the horse is being ridden and you see her playing with the bits, picking them up and dropping them with her tongue. And if I am not mistaken, you can see that vagus nerve, it's starting to stand out on her face a little bit now, which it was not before, because she's very quietly switching from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. It's very interesting, this stuff.